How are you guys feeling? Are you guys feeling okay? Yeah? Are you guys, I know it's Saturday morning, some of you guys might want to be at home sleeping still. How many of you guys sleep on Saturdays until noon or something? Yeah, there's a good amount of you, right? But you're here and that's great. So yeah, my name is Anton Wong. Let's just get started. I don't know why I have a clicker. I don't know why I didn't use it. Okay, I'm gonna use it. So yeah, let's get started. Like 40-year-old dads would say when they walk out of the washroom at a restaurant and they flick their hands, they go, "Let's rock and roll." So let's rock and roll, guys. Yeah, you guys got my joke. Okay, thank you. So my plan. Oh, hold on. Sorry, this is another presentation. Sorry. But if you do want to know how to take over the world, just let me know, and then we'll have a conversation. Anyway, why are you here? Seriously, can you guys just shout out some answers? Why are you here? Why are you here? One-word answers or couple words, phrases.
Class.
Experience. Sorry, what did you say?
Class.
Class?
Yeah.
Food. Yeah, I heard someone say food. Just shout out more answers. Sorry? Resources. Awesome. Yeah. Well, why am I here? Good question. I think it is to pump you up, to motivate you. I'm supposed to be a keynote speaker, which is really weird for me because I've never been a keynote speaker before. But I'm just doing it. Of all the possible speakers, why did he choose me? Actually, it's a funny story. When Lucas had come up to me and asked me if I wanted to be a speaker, he said, "Listen, in the past we've had keynote speakers who have run really successful multi-million dollar businesses, and this time we just want someone who's more relatable, And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Relatable? He's like, no, I meant in age. Okay, sure, I guess. But when he said relatable, I was picturing in my head me trying to come up here and be like, "Hey, how do you do, fellow kids?" and trying to do TikTok dances or something. And then no, that's not what I'm trying to be here for. But this presentation is actually for me as well, because I'm 23. I'm not too far disconnected from you guys. I'm still learning a lot of things, right? I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. But yeah, I'm here to tell you about the best kind of debt, DEBT. And yes, it is an acronym. Spoiler alert. But yeah, first let me get into who exactly am I. I am a commercial and event videographer. I've been doing it for about 2+ years, 2-3 years, full time, and I've been freelancing since high school. I got my first job at 17. My first paid wedding gig. I was paid $300, and at first I thought that was I hit the bank. $300, that is a lot of, junior chickens at McDonald's, So I thought it was great, but I shot my first video 10 years ago when I was some of your age, I was 13, I think, 12, 13. Even tracing back earlier, I would wake up as a 6-year-old on a Saturday morning at 5 in the morning just to watch television. And it's not just cartoons, because lots of kids watch cartoons at age 6. No, I would watch infomercials where they're selling those weight loss systems, and I'd be analyzing it. I'd be watching the news, which they would talk about business. My dad would be like, "What are you watching, son?" I'm like, "Oh, gold is down 3% now." This was the stuff that I enjoyed. I loved visual medium. I loved the motion picture of things. And so around 10 years ago, that was when, it was around, I guess, 2010, YouTubers started popping up around 2007, 2008. You had really early guys like Zay Frank, and you have people who are still around now. You have Ryan Higa, you guys know Shane Dawson. He used to do more sketch comedy and stuff like that back then, before now he's doing conspiracy theory videos and documentaries on makeup palettes or whatever he's doing now. But yeah, since then, I was just like, I can do that. This is the first time I saw that the powers of people who, to create something that was at first in the hands of, you can only go to a TV studio, you can only go to film school and then learn it. It felt so inaccessible. And then I came across these YouTubers who were doing it, just like making videos on their webcams, or I don't even know if you guys were around when flip cams were a thing, but like it looked like this, but it was just a camera, and it was upright, and it shot a full 720p video, which was amazing back then. But they just used whatever they can buy at Best Buy, or I'm not even sure if phones could record video back then. But that was something that just allowed me to then start shooting videos. It was like, I don't even know where my first video is. It's lost somewhere on the internet or in a hard drive. Sorry, give me a sec. But yeah, and then I ended up, after several years of making terrible videos, they started to get less and less terrible. And I did it just because I liked it so much. And yeah, this is just like a photo shoot of me. I'm very egotistical, so that's why I'm showing you photos of myself. This is a podcast that I started called So Far. I actually, did have Lucas on one of the episodes. That episode was pretty intense. I can tell you the story of it later, but really it was like, I set up camera, battery started dying, SD card slot was filled up. It was just a lot. But really, at the end of it, he let me know that the way you handle a situation is more important than what the situation is. It's the grit and the resilience. So just a lot of stuff, a lot of lessons learned. As my friend Naomi, she said, best achievement is actually friendship that she has ever had, which sounds corny, but when you get to the age of like 20 and then 30 and then 40, trying to maintain friendships is like the hardest thing ever when you have kids and everything like that. David is actually one of your coaches, I believe. Is that right? Or mentors? Yeah. Sorry, I'm parched. But yeah, that is my podcast. If you want to know more about it, you can ask me later. But I'm not just here to promote myself. So in 6 words, I love people and I love telling stories. I believe that you can figure out who you are by condensing it down into just a couple words, like 6 words. These are the 6 words I chose. I love people and I love telling stories, which is why I chose a podcast where I bring people on, have them tell a story, and have that inspire people, right? So, what was it that I said about DEBT, D-E-B-T? What does it stand for? It stands for do, action. E, explore things. E, whoa, hold on. I think I sent you, okay, whatever. That's supposed to be a B. B, be yourself. And T, try and fail. This was something that I sort of came up with at the last minute. I just sort of noticed that these words came up to spell D-E-B-T. I'm not trying to be like super corny, but it just I thought it was kind of cool. If you don't think it's cool, totally fine. First, do. Not much comes from forever in action. Like my podcast, when I had first started it, it was actually like a year or 2 in the coming. I thought about, I want to start a podcast, but maybe I should get this camera, or maybe I should have this, and I thought too much about it. Like I put so many things in the way of me doing something. I did not take action. I just kept thinking and planning and thinking and thinking. But it wasn't until I actually just texted people, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? I'm going to show up at this date. Let's record something. And it wasn't until then that I actually had something going. Just like how it wasn't until I picked up a camera for the first time, I basically stole it from my parents, and I started making something for the first time. And you guys here are here taking action to be here. So, you should be proud of yourselves for that. It is a very simple thing, but it's incredibly important. If you want something, you're gonna have to work for it. And it's, like I said, this presentation is a reminder for myself as much as it is for you guys. So just remember that if you just stay put, not much is gonna happen. You have to put some action into things. Yeah. So that's do. Whoop, here's my clicker. Okay. E, explore things. You guys are super young right now, so you have time to explore. Try different things. Join as many different clubs as you can. When I was in high school, I've done a lot of regrettable things, but I ended up with a 60 average and almost failed French class, which is a pretty easy class for a lot of people. But the thing that I didn't regret is trying everything that I could. I would go into this eco team club. I tried film club. I tried. I sat in for a Japanese media club. I think there was a Rubik's Cube and Magic club. I just went to all those clubs to see what I would like and what I would not like. And you guys have time to do that while you're, still teenagers, you're living with your parents, and you have this time on your hands right now. You don't know what you don't know. So if you don't explore, you're not going to figure out who you are, and that is the best way to find out who you are. So, I don't know if you guys know what this thing on the left is, but it's silkworm, I believe. So if you never had silkworm, try different foods. Maybe you like it. I don't know. If you never tried magic, try magic. You never tried woodworking, try woodworking. Just try different things. Sorry. Next is be yourself. I think this one is probably the most important. Even though in the word debt, the B is silent, I want to actually emphasize this letter. Be yourself. And what I mean by that is don't try to be anyone you are not, because it is not sustainable. I don't know if you guys ever, you're on Instagram and you're scrolling, some of you guys are kind of business minded, so maybe you come across those YouTubers who are just hey guys, check out my new course. That's how I got this wristwatch, and I got this Lamborghini behind me, and got this yacht, and they're just trying to show off and showboat, and someone who they're really not. And that comes off as off-putting, and it's really not sustainable. If you try to be someone who you're not constantly, then it's not going to work out. I was thinking today, should I come up dressed in a suit to make myself look bigger than I am and more important? That's actually what I thought. Even though every time I've seen Lucas, he's always in a hoodie and he looks just really casual. And I was thinking should I look more important? No, this is how I normally look. I'm actually coming off the tail end of a cold right now. And it's just, it would be inauthentic and untrue to be anyone who I'm not. And on that note, when I met Lucas, who was at basically a networking event, and I go to a lot of these to try to meet new people, see new perspectives, and a lot of these people coming from different backgrounds, different jobs, and they are a lot of them are so successful, and I'm very happy for them. But so often I compare myself to them, oh, this person has a business that they've been hired by the government of Canada. That's crazy. That's amazing. I'm never going to get that far. But they are not in the same industry as me. They're not the same age. They're not so many different factors. Very little of it was actually warranted. you just have to remind yourself not to compare yourself too much to people. Because, yeah, like I said, it's stupid that I'm comparing myself so much to people. I do want to preface the be yourself part with, also don't be a jerk. If you're saying like, oh, myself is just someone who likes to punch people in the face. So like, don't do that. Don't be that person. Still be empathetic. But yeah, don't be anyone you're not. Only you are you. That's basically what I had to say for that. And the last is T, try and fail. Trial and error is such an effective way. Is such an effective way to figure something out, to get something done. Just similar to my point on exploration, right? You want to explore things, but when you're doing them, you want to give it an honest try. And if you found something that you enjoy, like you want to keep trying at it and fail, right? Because failing is not something that makes you a failure. It makes you human. When you're failing at something, it just means that you figured out how not to do that thing, right? Like you fail a test, and then they say, oh, this was wrong, that was wrong. You didn't, carry the one over here. But you figure out what your mistakes are. Like in my industry, you can learn actually a lot more on how to make a video by watching a bad video than you can by watching a good video. Because you're like, oh, that was a terrible shot, it was horrible audio, terribly framed. But when it's so good, you don't notice it. So try and fail. Fail fast. Fail as fast as you can. Try to figure things out. I'm sure other entrepreneurs will say the same thing. Story of a failure. What's the story of a good failure? Okay, so when I was your guys' age, in high school, around grade 9 to 10, I got way too bogged down by gear and like comparing myself to others, like I said. And I just stopped making stuff, right? And I felt like a failure at that point. And I felt like this is not gonna go anywhere. That's it. But until like I try again, which is obviously I eventually did try again in grade 11 and grade 12. I started making videos again. That's how I got to the point of where I am. So yeah, let's review. D. Let's say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do. All right, the next word is explore. Next word is? Next word is? Do, explore, be, and try. Do action, take action, explore things, be yourself, and try and fail. These are some really important things. I just was told to give you guys some sort of thing to enlighten you or motivate you a little bit. But I mean, you guys are kind of already motivated by coming here today. So yeah, really. Some final words I want to say is there's really nothing I can do that will make you do anything because you guys are the ones who came here. It's all your choices and your actions. But people are here to help, and there are people who are willing to help, like your coaches and other people, your friends, family. And when you get to a good point, please do try to help others too. That's all I can say. Get into debt. Thank you.